I'm Reid Coolsaet. I'm a two-time Olympic marathoner. I've run the Scotiabank Toronto Waterfront Marathon 3 times. I'm going to walk you guys through this course and give you my insight on what I think are the critical parts of the course, what I think is interesting, and really anything that can help you achieve your goal on Sunday.
Hi, this is Alan Brookes. I'm the founder of Canada Running Series in 1990, and I'm the race director of the Scotiabank Toronto Waterfront Marathon. I love our start on University Avenue. I think University is really Toronto's signature iconic boulevard, and the beautiful panorama of the thousands and thousands of runners from 70-odd countries around the world. I guess about 18,000 people on the start line together for the marathon and half. And that beautiful panorama going up University Avenue to Queen's Park. It's really a majestic start.
And then you head towards Bloor Street, and the corner of Bloor and University is where you can find Yorkville, which is a posh neighborhood with upscale shops, and you make a sharp 90-degree turn right onto Bloor at the Royal Ontario Museum, known as the ROM. After you go by the 2K mark, you'll see the first aid station as you travel west on Bloor, and you'll pass the University of Toronto track. Usain Bolt once ran on that track. You're going through the Annex neighborhood in Toronto, around the University of Toronto, and a lot of students live in the area, and it's a pretty vibrant and loud. You'll hear some loud cheering sections in this area. And then after the 4K mark, you'll be heading south on Bathurst. This is a nice little downhill stretch. You'll encounter some streetcar rails there, but this is the point in the race where I feel that if my first 2K were a little bit slow, from 4K to 8K, you can make up a little time because it is a net downhill, and usually you're feeling pretty good. This is a good time to make sure you're with your pace group. If you've been lagging the first part, that's fine. This is a good place to, find that pacemaker, just get in that rhythm and find the group that you're going to run with. You're going to go by the second aid station around 5K, and you're just going to keep cruising down south towards the lake.
We recently added this 7K loop at the beginning of the race, and I think any successful major big city world marathon has to showcase that city, has to reflect the landmarks of that city.
Probably a few new condo developments from previous years. There seems to be one going up all the time. And then you will make a right onto Fort York. You'll be passing the historic Fort York, which was a battle site of 1812. You won't really be able to see it. I've never really spotted it as I'm running the race, but it's there. And then you'll keep running downhill until you get to Lakeshore. And Lakeshore, things flatten out a little bit. That's where you really find, you're going to get into your rhythm and really find your pace because it's quite flat. And sometimes you'll encounter a headwind.
And out we go. Toronto, I think, is a waterfront city. And that's where I think Scotiabank Toronto Waterfront Marathon, again, has this important touch point. We are a Great Lakes city.
All right, as you're heading west on Lakeshore, you will be approaching the third aid station, which is around the 9K mark. Make sure you start fueling up now. Definitely important. Personally, I like to break up my marathon in 5K segments. It's easy math to do. When you start getting tired, the splits beyond 5K become complicated for me. So 5K splits are great. If you break it up in 10K chunks, you can get your 10K split and evaluate, see how you're feeling. You're going to be able to see part of the course you're about to run on, because at about the 12.5K mark, you'll be doing a 180-degree turn and coming back, moving east along Lakeshore. All right, as you're running along the course, you're going to see quite a few cheer stations. You'll see some music being played, and you'll see the charities out. The Scotiabank Charity Challenge raises thousands and thousands of dollars every year. Have raised millions of dollars over the years for many charities. It's a big part of the race, and the charities are out there making noise, and you're going to see cheerleaders, and you're going to see rock bands and scattered throughout the whole 42K of this race. And it adds a little excitement and a lot of noise. When things are starting to get quiet, it'll pick back up again and you'll hear a lot of cheering and positive vibes.
Out to Ellis and a quick U-turn, and then heading back on the other side of Lakeshore Boulevard. Again, there's a nice cheer site near that turnaround point with the Friends of High Park and Swansea, Friends of High Park Zoo, and I think Rogue runners from the High Park neighborhood running crew are out there. And again, this is where things really get to roll. All the way along the lakeshore, and the fun part is you can see some of the other runners in the other direction.
And as you head east on Lakeshore, you'll go over one predominant rise, but it's so early in the race, it shouldn't really affect you that much. If it does, then you know you've gone out too hard, but it's early on the race, you're on a nice smooth road, you can just keep this rhythm going and just click off the kilometers one by one. And as you approach Ontario Place, you'll hit an aid station at 15K. Ontario Place, when I was a kid, was a ton of fun. They're rejuvenated it now. There's more life coming back into it, but you'll see the massive golf ball. It's like a 3D kind of movie theater or whatever. And you'll see the Toronto skyline pretty much straight ahead of you and the big lake on the right. So the CN Tower might look far away, but you'll get back into downtown before you know it with these nice, smooth, predominantly flat roads, and you often have a tailwind at your back at this point as well.
You're heading back into the city past the Princess Gates and Coronation Park, one of our very popular cheer sites, very successful ones, with Brazilian samba dancers and drummers, hosted by West Neighborhood House and the King West Liberty Village neighborhood. They're right there.
You'll be approaching the buildings of downtown again. The next aid station will be at 18K, and take some drinks there, because from 18K to 19K you get a little uphill as you run below the Gardner and then up beside it. And then you'll be passing the Scotiabank Arena. That will be on your left-hand side. That's where the Toronto Raptors and the Toronto Maple Leafs play. And you'll be going underneath the Gardner Expressway. There's some loud cheering crews there. Really fun and really loud area. You will see the half marathon split off will be to the left, and the marathon runners will make sure you stay to the right. It's well marked. There'll be marshals out there directing you. Half marathoners to the left, marathoners to the right. Marathoners will then make a right-hand turn away from underneath the Gardner to the Queen's Quay. You will pass the big Red Path Sugar Factory. Approaching the halfway mark, you'll get an aid station and you'll want to check your halfway split. I always find that the halfway split on this course is maybe a bit quick, because it is a net downhill to the southernmost point of the course. As you meander through Queen's Quay, you'll be back under the Gardner. I don't know why I like running underneath a highway, but for some reason it's cool. Maybe things feel like it's coming by quicker, but I like it. And then after halfway, you head a bit east and you start heading north. You will go right by the Distillery District, and then you'll make a right into the Pan Am Village. That is where the athletes from all over the world stayed when they competed at the 2015 Pan Am Games. You'll be heading north on Bayview. This is a quiet part of the course. You'll have the Don Valley River to your right. You'll see some fancy car dealerships on your left. This is although it's just a little extension of the course, it's still 3 or 4K, so it's still a significant chunk of the race that you'll be on this little section. You'll hit a fairly tight hairpin turn, north end of this Bayview extension, before you start heading back south.
This section's a little bit rolly, and again, it's a part of the course. You've got to halfway, you've gone past that, you've got your split, And I guess this section is actually 22 to 26k. You've really got to keep your concentration. Don't let your focus, your mind drift, and let the minutes get away from you here. One good thing, it is a little bit rolly in this section, and the gentle up and down does, I think, help you focus and concentrate and keep your form.
Right back into the Pan Am Village, where you're going to go around a nice sweeping gentle turn, and then you will head onto Eastern Ave, and it'll be a slight uphill and then a decent uphill as you go over the Don Valley River. It's an overpass, and take note of it because you will be going back over that overpass as you crest just past 38K. As you come off Eastern Ave overpass, you'll be approaching the 28K aid station. It's a very important time to be getting in your fluids and your carbs. You'll want to have done a lot of drinking and eating up to this point, but especially at this point, keep it going. Even if you don't feel that hungry, you will need that energy as the race progresses. You'll be going the southern part of Leslieville. There's a lot of movie studios around this area as you do a short southern stretch along Carlaw before you make a left and start heading east again on Lakeshore. Once again on Lakeshore, this is a really wide, smooth road. You'll see the lake will be to the right of you again, and you'll be heading towards Ashbridges Bay, also known as the Beaches, where they have hundreds of volleyball courts and a really nice neighborhood. Beaches are a great spot to hang out in the summer. All right, now you've already gone through the 30K split. You'll see the timing mats. You'll be approaching, the last 12K of the marathon, and make sure you pick something up at the aid station past 30K. Once you get to that 32K mark, you have 10K left, and for me, it's a significant point because 10K to go is manageable, but at the same time, it's also the toughest part of the course. So you just really have to dig deep and see what you've got. You've trained for months for this race, and you want to put all that training and focus it into one race. And specifically, the last 10K of the marathon is where you really want to just pour it all into. Make a right and head east on Queen Street East. Now you're in the Beaches neighborhood. This is a great section and an evil section. It's a great section because the crowds come out. There's great neighborhood feel, and they really come out to cheer for you here. The evil part is that this is not the flattest of roads. There's a little bit of undulation, and normally you wouldn't feel the little rises, but because you're turning around at just past 33K, this is quite far into the course. So you will feel the little ups and downs of this road, but the crowd definitely spurs you on and helps you get through this section. Heading back on Queen Street East, you'll be heading back towards the city. You're just basically going to the finish line now. Not many more turns except for a little southern jaunt on Woodbine that takes you back onto Lakeshore. Lakeshore is once again a nice road for running, predominantly flat. There's a couple aid stations along here, so right around 35K. It's a long stretch because it's straight, so it seems like it might go on forever this late in the race. Every step forward is a step towards that finish line. I remember one year got a little tripped up at 37K with a competitor at a aid station, and something like a little knock can feel like it takes a long time to get the legs moving again.
Heading back to downtown, and gradually you will get again to see the CN Tower. It's such an important landmark for you on the course that you can see from the Bathurst Street Bridge there at 6K when it's on your left, and then you come back right past it at 20 kilometers, and then you leave it behind at 21 in the marathon when you're heading east towards the beach. And of course, now you begin to see it again in the skyline.
You're going to make a right on Carlaw and then a left back on Eastern. There's a couple of aid stations there again to help you out, but as you run east on Eastern Ave, you will go over that overpass again. And that overpass is a little cruel because you're going to crest that overpass at 39K. If you're not tired, you haven't run hard enough for the beginning of the race, and at least you have that going for you. But for the most part, you are going to be tired, and that overpass, I have run it on days where I have not done the marathon, and I haven't really thought much of it, but I know the times where I've run the marathon, I am cursing this uphill. It's not much, but at 39K, it feels like a lot. The good part about it, once you've crested that overpass, you only have 3.2K to go. You have a nice little downhill on the back end of that overpass, and you're heading back into downtown. You're also heading back towards more crowds. The noise keeps picking up as you head towards the downtown core. And as you approach the 40K mark, there's going to be your last aid station. I like to grab something at this point. Even if I'm not going to drink it, just putting something sweet in my mouth, some carbs, you'll get a little boost from that. You'll pass St. Lawrence Market on your left, and then you're gonna do a little jog right in front of the famous Flatiron Building. So Front Street is very flat, and then you will make a right onto Bay.
And we do have signs as you move up Bay Street. 400 meters to go, 300 meters to go, 200 meters to go, and when you hit Queen Street, the final intersection, you've got 123 meters around the corner and into that finish line.
And just be proud of the accomplishment of what you've done, and good luck in trying to achieve that goal on Sunday.